Now that you've completed your first harmonic progression, the next step in this project is to create another harmonic progression. As we talked about with music form, you're going to have different phrases in the songs that you're going to create. And eventually, this assignment is going to become a complete song. So we need to have an additional chord progression to follow this one. The next thing you would do is choose another drum loop that you'd like to play along with. Go to your loop library, and if you've selected some drum loops and marked them as favorites, if you click on the heart over here, it'll actually pull up anything you've marked as a favorite. And if I click on drums, these are the drum tracks I've marked as a favorite. So I'm going to choose one of these that I'm going to use, and I'm going to drag it over here into the workspace. Next, I'm going to mute these two tracks. And next, I'm going to add another software instrument track. To do that, you click on the plus button located just above the track headers. After you click the plus button, you want to select a software instrument and create. Once you've added this new track, it's important that you add the chord trigger to this track also. So if you come over here, and this is in what's called the inspector. If you don't see that, it's this I in the circle in the upper left. And as long as you have this track selected, you should see that there's no MIDI effect that's been added. If I click on the track that I made earlier, you can see on this track, I do have the chord trigger. But on the new track, I'm going to have to click on MIDI effects, select chord trigger, and again, I'm going to click on factory default, bring my cursor down to multi, then over to parallel chords, and click triads. I should now have the chord trigger activated. So if you use those 4 buttons on your Launchpad, you should be getting chords again. So one of the things I want to do to make this chord progression different than the first one is to use the 4 chords in a different order than I did on my first example. In my first chord progression, I started with the green square and then went red, then yellow, then blue. This time I'm going to change it around. I'm going to start with green again, but then I'm going to go to blue, then to red, and then I'm going to end with yellow. It should sound something like this. But I'm going to listen to the drums and just play around with some rhythmic ideas first. And when I get an idea of the rhythmic pattern I want to use, now I'm ready to record. I'm going to click the red button, wait for the 4 clicks, and then play my new chord progression. And I have it recorded. Now, if I want to make any adjustments, I'm going to close my loop library. Or if I need to quantize, again, I can click and move things around. If I select all of these MIDI points, I can then go to quantize and make sure I have this quantized. Now, to hear what these chord progressions are going to sound like in the song, I'm going to move my new one over here so that it covers bars 5 to 9. And then I'm going to resize my cycle bar and unmute. So now I can listen to see what the chord progression is going to sound like when I play it one after the other. Okay, you may have noticed while I was doing that I'm adjusting the track volumes, because the first time when I got to the new drum track, it was much louder than everything else. So you can adjust individual track volumes using these sliders on the track header. And so now you have two different harmonic progressions that you can use for your song. Once you finish this part of the assignment, go to the next video to see part 3 to continue your work.